Hello.
Okay. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Um, please give me 5 minutes, please. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, nobody's answering. All right, so I believe you all are doing okay. Yeah, good evening. So I believe you all are doing all right. So today we'll be talking about color theory. I remember for Ubo, in our last class, I think I've forgotten we were doing practical in our last class. We also talked about design briefs. You know, we talked briefly on design briefs, understanding design briefs, talk briefly on design briefs and all that. So that is that. So today we'll be talking about color theory. Now, color theory is basically in UI UX. Color theory is basically under visual designs. All right, it's under visual designs. Now, color is very, very, very much important when designing, especially when it comes to mobile app development, and when it comes to in software design, and when it comes to websites, in a software application, in a mobile software application, and in a website, all right? Color is very, very much important when designing. Now, designing color is more of like the life, of a particular design. It brings, it makes it, in true color, you become very, very much expressive when designing, all right? So that's it. So now we are going to talk about what is color wheel. Moving in. Now, color theory, or rather, what is color theory? Color theory is a set of concepts or principles and guidelines that help artists and designers to use color effectively in their work. Color theory is just talking about principles, guidelines, just like the way we talked about principles of design, all right? You remember in our principles of design, we talked about colors in our principles of design. You get me? So color theory is talking about various principles and guidelines as in which what designers need to follow when using colors in designing. Now, like I always say, it is better you don't even use a color in a job than you use colors that don't match, because at the end of the day, you end up causing chaos. All right. Color helps you in bringing out harmony and creating contrast. Color helps us to understand the anatomy of color, how different color combinations work together to achieve different effects. Yeah. In that way, it also helps us in creating contrast when designing. All right. So that is that. Now we're going to be moving into why does color theory matters? Here's why color matters beyond aesthetics. Color is crucial for brand identity and recognition. Now, brand identity, what is brand identity? Brand identity is talking about a particular identity that brand identity is mostly talking about how I put it now, what makes your brand stand out, what makes it different from another brand. That is what we call your brand identity. Now, your brand identity involves your colors, your logos, your typography which you use. That is your brand identity. That's what makes it different from another brand. All right, that's what makes it different from another brand. Like you see here, when you think of some of the famous brands like Starbucks, when you think of some of the favorite brands like Starbucks, okay, class, let me ask a question. Who can tell me? I want you to be very honest. What's the brand identity color for GT Bank? Who can tell me?
Orange and white.
Orange and white. All right, orange and white. Now, you see that orange and that white have their own specific color codes. Their type of orange can be different from another type of orange. That is what makes it a color. That's what makes that orange a color. All right. In visual designing, colors are very, very much important. Now, every color has what we call color codes. That is why it is very, very effective when doing your brand design. Like when we think of First Bank, we think of the blue and white. When we think of Adidas, we think of the black. All right. Now, when we think of Guinness, we think of the black and gold. Now, these are brand colors. That's what makes it stand out. Number two, color can evoke emotions and impact people's mood and behavior. Now, let me tell you something, class. I can hate a particular object because of the color in which you use. I'm someone like that. I don't really know how to hide my emotions, all right? I don't really know how to hide my emotions. That is just how it is. For example, I can be driving, or my father can be driving, and he can see a particular house, and he can be like, oh my God, this house, I so much hate the color. Maybe, for example, you are using blue, green, and orange. Blue, green, and orange in a particular house. Tell me, why won't you hate the color? I will hate the color so much. All right. So it has a way of evoking emotions. Now, for example, let us say someone stole something and they're about to, let's say they want to take him to Ailara to go and swear. He stole something, but he's denying. He's been denying. All right. But as the whole, you know how it is in the streets, why they are beating him and hitting him left, right, and center, they are dragging him to they're dragging him to the Ayilala altar, and immediately he sees the red and white, automatically he can be like, bros, okay, let me tell you something I can explain. Now, he's saying all that because why? Because he's fearful. Colors has a way of brewing emotions. If you enter inside a house where the walls are red, the ceiling is red, the ground is red or black, trust me, what kind of feeling will you get? Class, tell me, what kind of feeling will you get when you're entering a room, for example, and you're seeing red wall, red ceiling, and black tiles? Tell me, class, what kind of feeling will you get?
I would think it's a ritual room.
Oh, yes. You think it's a ritual room or a slaughterhouse, or they want to kill you. All right. So you are going to be scared. You will not want to enter inside. So that is how it is. All right. So it has a way of what it has a way of evoking emotions and impacting people's mood and behavior. All right. Number 3, color helps to create contrast, which improves readability. Yes. Now, what is contrast? Contrast is talking about, in the layman language, class, what is contrast? Who can tell me? In the layman language, who can tell me what does contrast means? Who can tell me? What does contrast means in the layman language? When you say it's in contrast with what he said, what am I talking about? Who can answer me, class? Who can answer me? When I mean, what does contrast mean? You can use a layman language or a layman terminology to explain what contrast means. Who can?
Contrast to me in terms of picture or video, the clarity or the brightness of the pictures on the screen.
Okay, the clarity or the brightness. What else? Who again?
I think when they say something's in contrast with another thing, like it negates, like maybe adds up or negates some it's.
Okay, because of, all right. You see, when it comes to color, when it comes, what contrast means, contrast is just basically talking about a difference between two elements. Like you see black, white, dark, light, big, small. All right. Contrast creates balance. Contrast gives a particular design balance. Are you hearing me? So contrast is basically talking about what different. Like for example, if you say Nkechi said something in contrast with what John said, that means Nkechi said something different from what John said. All right. So color helps you in creating contrast. And from contrast, good contrast aids readability. Good contrast aids readability. For example, I cannot be using a very strong red and be using a black on top. There is no proper contrast because at the end of the day, I will start straining my eyes to read. And that negates what? A good user experience. All right? That negates a good user experience. You don't do that. You don't use dark color on top of dark color. You don't use a very dark color on top of a very dark color. You don't use a very dark color on top of a black, dark, bold color. All right? You don't use black on top of black. You don't write in black. You don't write on using a black color fill on a black background. You don't do that. All right. So that is that. Now we are going to be talking about the next thing which we are going to be talking about is we are going to be talking about primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. I believe some of you basically had an understanding of what primary, secondary, and tertiary colors is. From, I believe in your primary school days, they would have taught you, oh, primary colors, blah, 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 secondary colors, blah, 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 tertiary colors, blah, blah, blah. You understand? But here, they are very, very much important. So here, it says primary colors are those that cannot be created by mixing other colors together. Right? Primary colors are colors that cannot be created by mixing other colors together. The 3 primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. These colors cannot be created by being mixed. All right? So the second one is secondary color. Secondary colors are created by mixing what? 2 primary colors together. All right? Okay, class, who can tell me? Which 2 colors will you mix to give you orange?
Red and
Who can tell
yellow.
me? Red and what?
Yellow.
Okay. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Oh, nobody. Okay.
Red and
So,
yellow.
okay, red and yellow. Yeah, yeah, red and yellow. So these colors, as you're seeing, no, this locked. So these colors, you see, they are created by mixing two primary colors together. So which colors can you mix to create purple?
Blue and yellow or red?
Red and blue.
Huh?
Red and blue.
Who else?
Yellow and blue. Yellow and blue.
I think it's yellow and
Yellow
blue.
and blue.
Yes.
Yeah, yellow.
So give you
Red
purple.
and blue.
No. Okay. Red and blue, right? Red and blue, right? Yes. Red and blue.
Yes,
When you mix
red and blue.
yes.
Red
Yes.
and blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Red
When you
and
mix
blue.
yeah. When you mix red and blue together, it gives you purple. All right. So that is that. Now we have the next one in which we are going to is tertiary colors. All right. Now, what are tertiary colors? Tertiary colors are the result of combining a primary color and a secondary color. All right. The result is a tertiary color. When you combine both the primary and the secondary color together, what you get is a tertiary color. Like you see, there are tertiary colors like magenta, which is mixed with red and purple. Vermilion, red mixed with orange. Violet, blue mixed with purple. Teal, blue mixed with green, and so on and so forth. All right. When you mix when you mix the primary, when you mix primary and secondary colors together, you get the tertiary colors. Now, understanding the elements and properties of color: hue, shade, tint, and tone. Hue, shade, tint, and tone. Now, what is hue? Now, what is hue? Hue is the color in its purest form. When I mean, what is the hue color? Hue color is it's the color in its purest form, meaning that there is no mixture. Conch red, conch blue, no light blue, no dark blue, but pure blue. That is blue in its purest form. All right. Now shade. Now what is shade? Shade. Now, if you want to create a darker version of a color, you can add black to a particular hue. Now, shade is talking about when you add a black shade, all right, or rather you are adding a black on top of the blue. Now, if you add black on a blue, on a hue blue, will it still remain the same hue blue?
No.
Class, will it still remain the same hue blue?
No.
No. All right. Because why? Yeah, because why? Black has been added to it. Now it becomes another, or rather a darker version of that blue. All right. It becomes a darker version of that blue. Now, when you check the color code, after adding shade or a black to it, the color code will change to another color code entirely. All right. One thing you should understand is colors makes use of light very much. Right? The application of light determines the kind of color in which you get. All right. The color code for sky blue is different from the color code from dark blue. I hear you. So that is that. Now, the next one in which we are going to is tint. Tint is the opposite of shade. Tint is whereby you are adding what? Light to a color. When you add light to that particular color, automatically it will become what? It will become lighter. All right. Like you see sky blue, you see like hair. Those type, that is sky blue is like that because why? There is an application of what? Of light. Why for shade, light is limited. So it becomes a darker version of the blue. For shade. Who is talking? Is there a question? Hello, is anybody asking a question? Okay, nobody's asking a question. All right. Now the next one is tone. All right. Tone is talking about is something referred to as saturation. It's achieved by adding gray color to a particular design. All right. There's way you add gray at the end of, adding gray to it has a way of bringing out its depth. Do you understand me? So that is what that is tone. All right. So please, is someone asking a question? All right. Now we are going to go into color wheel. Is someone asking a question, please? Hello, is someone, if you know you're not asking a question, please mute your mic so that I can talk.
I'm just joining. So
okay. All right. Okay, now we are going into color wheel. All right. Now, who have an understanding of what color wheel is? Who have an understanding of what a color wheel is? Who have an understanding of what color wheel is? Now, a color wheel is more of like a color wheel is a circular representation of all the different colors and their possible variations. A color wheel is a circular representation of all the different colors and their possible variations. Now, there's this information. It's not really that important. But at the end of the day, I would want you to know that. All right. Now, color wheel was invented by Isaac Newton, I think in 1666. It was invented by Isaac Newton in 1666. All right. And I don't really care about that. But what's much important is to know what a color wheel is. All right. So that is it. Now, there are six main color wheels. There are six main color schemes. Now, there are principles that we follow when using the color wheel. That's what we call color schemes. All right. There are principles in which we follow when using the color wheel. We call it color schemes. All right. Now, six main color schemes. We have number one. We have the complementary color scheme. Let me put it on so that you can see it. Number one, we have the complementary color scheme. Complementary color scheme uses two colors which are located directly opposite each other in the color wheel. Now, for you, some of you that are looking for what color wheels are, let me show you what the color wheel is. So please, I want you to concentrate on this. Okay. This is slow. All right. Are some of you looking at my screen?
yes, sir.
Now what you are seeing here, yeah, good. Now what you are seeing here is a color wheel, all right? What you are seeing here is the color wheel. Let me go for a proper, okay, let me use Adobe color wheel.
My mic. You miss your mic. Okay. Never mind, just turn down the voice spectrum.
All right. Class, look at you. I love this animation. All right.
Hey, Chris.
Now look at it, class. This is Adobe Color Wheel on Adobe Color, the website. All right. Now this is what we call what? Your color wheels. Now, these are color variations. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Are you all
sir.
following? Yeah, these are the what? Different color variations. These are more of like a complementary colors that go with each other. These colors that you are seeing here go perfectly with each other. All right. So that is it. It's been a while like analogous. Okay, yeah. So that is it. Now we have various color schemes. These are schemes in which we need to follow when designing. All right, you can pick any one. These are schemes in here. You can literally pick any one when doing a job. Now, color schemes aids us in everything. It aids us in graphic. I don't know. I feel someone is talking and is distracting me. All right. Now, these color schemes aids us when designing in a graphic design, when running graphic design, when running UI UX design, anything. All right. So that is that. Now we have complementary color schemes. Complementary color schemes uses two colors which are located directly opposite each other on the color wheel. This is the act of using two colors which are located directly opposite each other on the color wheel. Let's check what that is there. Complementary. Okay. Are you all seeing it now?
Yeah.
Are you all seeing it, class?
Yes.
There's only one person that is talking here.
Yes, sir.
So look
Yes,
at
sir.
this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Like you are seeing here, this is the act of using two color schemes that are directly what? Opposite each other. All right. So that is that. Oh. So that is that. Let me check here. If you look at it, these are the various colors in which you can what? You can basically use, especially when using a complementary color scheme. All right. So the next one in which we are looking at is analogous. Analogous color scheme uses colors that are next to each other. It uses colors that are next to each other. Now, let me give you a detailed example of what I'm talking about. Now, analogous here, this analogous. These are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Are you all seeing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you all seeing it?
Yes.
These are color schemes. These are color schemes that are okay. These are color schemes that are next to each other on the color wheel. All right. Now, most times, me as a designer, I like using this color scheme when designing. I like it. Now, as a designer, you should learn to pick one. All right. Sometimes we pick two or three based on the complexity of the job, of the design job. All right, based on the complexity of design job. So sometimes we pick one, we pick two, sometimes. All right. Then the next one we have is the monochromatic. That is my best. I use monochromatic, using different shade of that particular color. Using one color, but in different shade and what? And this thing, like you see here, class. This is the light green. This is the darker version of the green. This is the shaded version of the green. Are you all following now? Are you all seeing it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is it. This is the light version. This is the faded version. They are all, but you are using them in their different shades. All right. So that is that. Now the next one which we are seeing now.
Hope will get this material. The material.
Yes. It will be shared on the group already. I thought I've already shared it on the group. It will be shared on the group already. Don't worry. Your comrades, they've already had it already, so we'll share it on the group. Now, the next one is the triadic color scheme. The next one is the triadic color scheme. And the triadic color scheme, this is here, triad. It makes use of three, like it's a three-way color, a way of using colors. Like you are seeing here. Okay. Like you are seeing here, these are 3 different variations of colors. If you look at this way, they said a triadic color scheme comprises 3 colors that are evenly spaced across all around the color wheel. A triadic combination of colors is great for creating high contrast while achieving harmony. All right, it's more of like a 3-way color scheme. You get me? It's mostly used, it aids in creating high contrast while achieving harmony. Now, the next one is split complementary color scheme. A split complementary palette takes one dominant color and two other colors that are directly next to the dominant color. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. I think it should be here. We should be having our split color. We should be having it here. Split complementary. This is it. Now, this is the dominant color. All right. This is the dominant color here. The dominant color here is green. And this is the what? The 2 sub-colors. And these 2 sub-colors must be next to each other. Like they said here, they said it takes one dominant color and 2 colors that are directly next to the dominant color. Complementary on the colorway. In other words, to choose the second and third color in a split complementary color scheme, find the color directly opposite your first color on the color wheel that it complements. Then choose the 2 colors that are located next to that color. All right. Now, if you look at this color, for example, we are choosing green. The color opposite green is purple. All right. Purple, and the next color is kind of red, a light shadow of the red. If our own is here, let's the dominant color is blue here, class. If the dominant color, for example, is blue, what is going to be the 2 sub-colors from this color wheel? If, for example, the dominant color now is blue here, what are going to be 2 sub-colors? Looking at using this color wheel, what will be the 2 sub-colors?
Yellow and kind of orange.
You said what?
Yellow and
Yellow and
orange.
purple.
Yellow and no, now.
No, purple.
It can't be yellow and purple. Yellow and what?
Orange.
Orange. All right. So that's it. It's going to be yellow and orange. If we are using, for example, this sky blue here as our dominant color, then the colors should be like I think orange, light orange, and probably dark orange or red or something. Here. All right, that is diagonally. All right. So that is split complementary color theory. Now, this next one is tetradic color scheme. This is also known as a double complementary or rectangular color scheme. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Tetradic is talking about, I believe it's talking about 4. This is the art of putting like a rectangular structure on top of your, okay, let me show you. I think it should be here. Color harmony. Oh, it's not here. Now, tetradic is the act of using it, although people barely use it. You get me? It's just like putting a rectangle on top of your color scheme. And from that rectangle, you tend to use what? The color for that particular job. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So class, are you looking at my my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Good. Now this is how we deploy tetradic color scheme in a particular design. All right. So that's for that. Okay. Now, introduction to color psychology. Color psychology explores how different colors can impact our mood. Color psychology explores how different colors can impact our mood. Like I said, colors has a way of brewing emotions. Yeah. So when working with colors, you need to know how to deploy your colors. In what aspect to deploy your colors, when and where to deploy your colors. All right. Now, here are some of the color association. Now, the color red is associated with love, passion, energy, danger, power, and intensity. Now, class, which color do you think? Let me quickly take away my screen so that some of you will not spy. For example, which color do you think is associated with something rich and wealthy? Which color? Like, let's say luxury. For example, someone tells you to design a software application, does not have a color in mind, but she sells expensive wares, expensive clothing wears, luxurious and expensive clothing wears, you know, something classy, calm, and luxurious. Taz, take note of this. Something class, calm, and luxurious. Tell me, what color will you use?
Purple or shades of
Purple.
blue.
Ah?
Purple is
Blue.
royalty.
Gold and
Purple
purple.
defines royalty.
Wait. Let me pick someone. Anita, Miss Anita. Please, I want you to tell the class. What color will you use if, for example, let us say, okay, I'm Mr. Kelly, and I want to give you a job, a design job, and I sell luxurious. Wait, I'm coming. And I sell luxurious clothes. I sell. I want the job to show luxuriousness, wealth, class, and calm. It should be calm, it should be luxurious, and it should be simple. All right. So tell me, Miss Anita, which color will I deploy?
For me, I think I will go with gold and purple.
Gold and purple.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, why will you go for gold and purple?
Gold and purple kind of speak about royalty and wealth, kind of something rich.
Okay. All right. Now, that is wrong. All right. That is very wrong. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to visit that. Now, Somto.
How about
Somto. Okay,
How
Peter.
about-
Is it Peter that is talking? Okay, Somto, please. Somto, you can have the mic. You can have the
Okay.
mic. So tell me.
I think I'll go with something around blue and purple or purplish blue, something within that color.
Okay, that is very wrong. That is very wrong. Who again? Who again?
How about purple and white?
Purple and white. Now, purple and white is wrong. Do you understand? Now, listen. One day, probably in our next class, I'll teach you all how to know how to read brief, how to be inside the mind of your clients. Now, when I tell you, I gave you a brief just now. I said I want a design that will show what? Calm. Design should be calm, and are you hearing me? Classy, and it should show wealth, richness. Now, if you ask me as a designer to give you something that shows calm, that is calm, simple, classy, and expensive, I will go with the color what? I will go with the color brown. Brown and cream. All right? Remember, classy, calm, and luxuriousness. Do you know that luxury is associated with the color brown? It's associated with the color brown. All right. If you notice, if you see many of our top brands today, like you see, who's talking? Please, mute your mic. Okay. Now, like I said, if for example you give me that particular, I'm going to go with the brown color, the brown, the brown, and the cream color. Now, the brown and the cream color talks about warmth, calmness, but wealthy. Now, the color gold is shouty. Gold is like, see me here, oh, I am gold, oh. Do you understand me? Oh, when he enters, he's showing wealth all over. Now, that is what gold is. Gold is color for wealth, is true. But gold is shouty. It is noisy. Silver is even more calmer than gold. Gray is even more calmer than gold. Are you hearing me now? So that is it. So you need to know how to what? You need to know how to read a particular design. You need to. I'm going to later on teach you how to read a particular brief. All right. Black and gold is not black and gold. Black and gold is where it's wealth, but then it's shouty. All right. So that is that. Now you see, there's a particular, for example, I with your colleagues, I asked a question. I said, peradventure you see me one day, I enter the class, I wear a black suit all over from head to toe. And let's say I wear a black, there's a turtleneck and a black suit from head to toe and a black shoe. And I enter the class. What is the first impression you are going to get about me? Tell me.
I would think you are mourning someone.
You say, you think I'm coming to harm you?
No, I would think you are mourning. As in you lost someone. Wearing pure black.
On-
Or you're going to funeral.
I would think
Undertaker.
from a burial.
You say, you think what?
You are coming from a burial.
Okay, I'm coming from a burial.
Mm.
All right. Now, class, let me just be honest with you.
Undertaker.
Okay, Undertaker. Oh, yes, Undertaker. Okay, I should just go to wrestling. WWE, you understand? Well, let me tell you something. Do you know that black shows wealth? Do you know that? It shows wealth. It has a way of speaking wealth. Do you know, I went to buy a jacuzzi and a jacuzzi, and at the shop, I saw a black jacuzzi and a white jacuzzi. All right. And the two of them, they look so alike, but the difference is just the color. But class, do you know, between that white and black jacuzzi, do you know that the black jacuzzi is way more expensive than the white jacuzzi? Do you know that? Do you know that, class? The black jacuzzi is way more expensive than the white jacuzzi. Just like you see white Benz and black Benz. Most times, black Benz is way more expensive than the white one. Why? Most times they feel maybe it's due to the fact that it's common and it's true. All right. White and black is it's cool. All right. It shows wealth and all that. You get me? So it has a way of what? Affecting their prices. You get. So now if you look at okay, let's switch to so here are some of the color associations. Now we have red, the color red. The color red is for love, passion, energy, danger, power, and intensity. Yes, the color red is for love, passion, energy, danger, power, intensity. That's what the red color stands for. All right. Now, you see, that is it. So number 2, we have pink. I believe the girls in the house, you know what I'm talking about. Pink, romance, Korean movies, all right? Romance, delicacy, softness, nurture, optimism, playfulness, and fun. So if you look at the pink color, it's so feminine, all right? It does not mean that as a man, you cannot wear pink. You get me? But it is really, really what? Feminine. Then the 3, we have blue. The blue stands for wisdom, dependability, calm, peace, relaxation, coolness, and sadness. All right. So that is that. Now, green is talking about nature, freshness, health, renewal, prosperity, and jealousy. Okay. So that's what the green stands for. Then the yellow is talking about hope, optimism, fun, joy, happiness, warmth, danger, and caution. Then we have the orange talking about energy, warmth, optimism, abundance, kindness, warning, and danger. All right. Now, if you look at all these colors, the colors that have a hint of red inside are mostly associated with danger. All right. So that is it. Now, purple is talking about royalty, nobility, glamour, mystery, and luxury. That's what purple is talking about. When you want to use something, do something royal, that will show royalty, that will show wealth, that will show a shouty feeling. All right, we use purple. Then black is talking about elegance, power, sophistication, strength, luxury, sadness, and grief. All right, so that is it. Now, like I said, back to what I was saying, I said, for example, I wear black suits. Now, let me just tell you something. Some of you think I'm an undertaker, but do you know that you will? There are some people that will wear that black suit from head to toe, especially fair people. They will wear it and they will look very, very good on it. And when you see them, automatically you will respect them, because especially when you don't know them before, you automatically respect them. All right. There's this particular aura that comes with what? Colors. You understand me? There's this particular aura that comes with colors. Then the next one, we have white. I believe you all know purity, simplicity, tranquility, peace, and openness. White does not have wahala. All right. So that is that. Now, what are the best colors for designers? Now, class, if you are to use your color theory, I say color theory. If you are to use this thing, you can write it down. What are the best colors for designers? Colors. What are the best colors of software applications for designers? Now we have number one. We have Adobe Color Theory. Adobe Color is a software application or a website that you can go to that can aid you in what? In choosing your colors. Hue Snap is another one. Chroma is another one. Colors is another one. Then ColorMind is another one. Now, Colors make use of AI. I think it's Color. Is it Color or ColorMind? It's ColorMind. It makes use of AI. All right. So that is that. Now, when using colors, when using colors when designing, you have to learn to consider the following. You have to learn to consider the brand identity. GTBank did not carry and go and use black and white on their job. No, because black and white is not part of their brand identity. First Bank did not use black and white on their job because why? Black and white is not their brand identity. So when giving a job to do, make sure that you ask the client or you ask the person, oh, sir, please, what's the brand, what's your color brand, or what's the brand of your color? What's the brand of your color? What's the color of your brand? What are the colors in which your brand uses? It's very, very much important. All right. So that is that. Number two, we have think about the people who will perceive your colors. Think about those that will use your products. You have to, your target audience. What kind of reaction or emotion in which you want to resonate when they are using your work? All right. You have to think about that. Now, what I'm looking at the screen, what I'm looking at on the screen is, okay, let me check your message. What you are looking at on the screen is, we are looking at contrast at its best. Now, if you are looking at this white screen here and this one here, there is not enough contrast. There is not enough contrast. If you are looking at this one and the darker version of looking at this one and this right up, you will see that there's not enough contrast. Are you hearing me? If you look at this one and looking at this one, now that's what I was literally saying. That is why you use two different colors in a particular design, because it aids contrast. I cannot be using purple background on top of a black purple, text. The contrast is not there for the write-up. Like what you are seeing here now in this my write-up here, purple and purple is not okay. Because why? There's not enough contrast. But when you deploy what? The white color on this one, that is when you see what? Contrast. If you notice, you say better. This is a good example of what we call what? Contrast. All right. So that is that. So that is the end of our class today. So I want to ask a question. Okay. Do we have a question? Does any of us have a question?
I don't know what I want to say is concerning the previous classes, because I didn't start from beginning of all the classes.
Okay.
especially this particular course. So I will not be able to follow from the beginning. I'm only just taking bit by bit. I've not gotten everything put together.
All right. Okay. For that, we will have to work something out. Although it's not only you that have been complaining, so we are thinking of working something out. I plan on probably maybe revisiting this again, but the next time I will be attending class. I'll be running through the beginning. I'll be very, very quick with that. And also the way I can also help you is I can send you materials on your group. There are materials that are available on the group. So I will resend them again. You have to literally you have it and you have to go through it. All right.
What I will need, if I can get a video recorded practicals of what has been done in the past. That is what
Okay, then we'll probably work on that though. Although a lot of people have been disturbing me for the videos, so we'll work on that. We've not really started practical for well, but for those in Hiyama, we've already started practical. So we'll have to work something or work a way around that. All right. So for your from your materials, I'll get them sent to the group so that each and every one of you can have access to it. Or you can go to the LMS because some of my works are there. Some of the works are there. So thank you very much. So who else wants to ask a question? Because I have a question to ask. Any question? Any question? All right. So in the absence of no question, I want to ask my own question. And my question goes like this. Is black and white a color?
Interesting.
Yes, sir.
it's a color.
It's a color. What makes it a color?
I don't think so. I think it's
All right.
just like
I like that. Okay, you don't think so? Okay.
yeah, I feel it's just like basically due to lighting. So if there's light, then we have black. Yes, if there's light, we have sort of like white. But if there's no light, that's where it falls down to like a black or dark color.
All
Just
right. All right. All right. Okay. So who just okay. Okay, you said you're saying that it's not a color, right? Because it works with light and darkness, are we? Right?
yeah, yes, that's what I said.
Good. Okay, so who is opposing him? Who is opposing him? Okay, you all don't want to say anything now because he has said something. Well, you know, you are not, or is it that some of you are not sure, or is not sure of what? Anybody? Is black and white a color, class? Is black and white a color?
It's a color now. Black is a color. White is also a color.
What makes it a color? Tell me. It's not about
I would say it depends on how you are using it. It depends on how you are using it. Black is just simply the absence of colors in light.
Okay.
So while white is the presence of color in light. So it depends on how you are using it. And you could say, okay, I want to use black as a color for so thing, or I want to use white as a background. It could be a color for you. It could just be something like that. I don't know what. I feel it's a color because it has color codes. I think for white is FFF and for black is 000, something like that.
Okay. Now, anybody else? Does anybody have any sort of contribution?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Black black is not a color, but white is a color.
Okay. Why is black not a color and why is white not a color? And why is white a color?
Because black is what we see when no light is reflected or emitted, while
Okay.
white on the other hand is like is considered a color because of the reflection of all wavelengths of visible light.
Okay. Okay. So anybody else? Anybody contribution again? All right. Now let me tell you something. All right. This argument, has raged through years and it has come to a conclusion. Now, black is a color and black and white is a color and black and white is not a color. I'm saying it again. Black and white is a color and black and white is not a color. Now, scientifically, black and white is not a color. All right? Black and white is not a color. But when it comes to art and design, black and white is a color. Are you hearing me? Black and white scientifically is not a color, but when it comes to art and design, black and white is a color. Now, what makes black and white a color? Black and white is a color when it comes to art because of what? Due to the application of light. The application of light and shade on that particular color gives it various
Can't hear
color
it though.
codes. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? All right. Class, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, we
Okay,
can.
now the application of light and shade or tint and shade on a color, as far as you have been able to, due to the application of light and shade on a color, which has a way of affecting the color codes, automatically makes color a color. The fact that a color has color codes makes it a what? A color. The fact that black has different variations of black makes it a what? A color. Are you hearing me? Now, the black being used for Adidas in the brand identity is different from the black being used in Guinness. It's different from the black being used in, I think, Ford. All right. So that's it. But when it comes to in the scientific aspect, all right, black and white is not a color. The absence of light is what? Darkness. The absence of darkness is what? Light. That doesn't make it a color. Are you all hearing me now? Are you all following? Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah. So that's it. All right. Now, if you
Yes,
look at,
but not
like I said, okay, what is the part you're having problems?
my network went off when others were answering and when you were answering as
Let me answer again. Now, black and white is a color and it's not a color. Black and white is not a default color. There's nothing like default color. All right. You can only call it a default color because most times things are always in black and white. That's why you think it's a default color. All right. But when it comes to design, there's nothing like default color. All right. So that is that. Now, black and white is a color and it's not a color. Scientifically, it's not a color. But when it comes to designing, when it comes to the world of design, software designing, graphic design, it is a what? It is a color. Because of the presence of what? Of the color shades, light and tinting and shading. All right. Now, as small as a tiny exposure of a color to light automatically turns that color gives that color another color shade. All right. When you expose it to light, it gives that color another color shade. It is no longer that huey color. It is now another color, another variation of that color. All right. So that's that. So when someone asks you is black and white a color, you say black and white is a color. Black and white is not also a color. Then you give the explanation like the way I just said. All right. So that's that. So I would want you all to do something for me. I'm going to give an assignment. I didn't put the assignment up here. Or if you have a book, so please, if you can get your hands on your book, I'll be really happy. I want you to do something for me. I'll read out the assessment test for you guys. So I want you to write it somewhere. I'll probably send it to you can probably send it to my email. Now, assessment number 1, explain how the combination of primary, secondary, and tertiary colors form the foundation of color theory. I'm going again. Explain how the combination of primary, secondary, and tertiary colors form the foundation of color theory. Define hue, shade, tint, and tone. Full stop. 2. Define hue, shade, tint, and tone.
Adaba.
Yeah. Define hue, shade, tint, and tone.
Please come again the second.
I said define hue. Okay, define hue, H-U-E, shade, tint, and tone. That's for the second one. The first one, explain how the combination of primary colors, secondary, and tertiary colors form the foundation of your color theory. So that's just the 2 that will be submitted next week. So please, I want you all to pay more attention. I love the fact that some of you, I want to appreciate some of you that took time to come up here. That you guys are the best. So I want you all to start getting ready. The project will begin by next month, probably. Or they will have to push you guys fast. And I don't know how they are going to do it. All right. So that's that. Any question? Any question? Any question last time? All right.
No question. The only thing I want to plead with you is that you send the slide to us, please.
Yes, I will. I will send it on Uber group chat. All right. So that is that. So with this, we've come to the end of today's class on color theory. Next, we are going to be talking about typography. From next week, we are going to be talking about typography and all that. So make sure you take care of yourself and see you same time, same place next week. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
bless you.
Yeah.